Hey guys, welcome to a new Wednesday weigh-in video. Forewarning, this week has been bad.
But if you want, can we try again? Try again. Oh yeah.
So continue watching if you guys want to know why it's been bad. I will be talking about my daily weigh-ins, how my week went in that regard. I'll also be answering your guys' 3 weight-related questions. So the first question is, do you ever feel detached from the scale? Currently, no. I feel like the scale has become my best friend, but also my enemy. And I know for some people that's like a bad way of thinking and seeing it, but I feel like the scale is just another one of my motivators. In the past, I was completely detached from the scale. I really feel like I went through a body dysmorphia moment. Like I would see the number on the scale and like I honestly couldn't process how big I was. But then if I saw myself in Eric's YouTube videos, or if I saw myself in a picture, or even just like walking by a mirror, I was like, what? Especially when it was photos, because how I looked wasn't how I felt. So I feel like being detached from the scale had a big role in like the body dysmorphia part of me. I felt smaller than what I was, and I think that was detrimental to progress, or any progress that I could have made, because sometimes I felt like I didn't have a problem. I was definitely completely delusional, and I'm just really glad I'm out of the delusional state. Next question is, do you exercise? I do exercise. It's not something that I have talked about. I think it's mainly because I didn't want to talk about it until I've been doing it long enough to talk about it. I know there have been a lot of times in the past where I'd like work out for like 1 or 2 days. I'm just like, oh my God, look at me, a gym rat. But I always ended up, you know, quitting my little exercise moments. But this time I do exercise every day. My exercises consist of walking and stairs. I would like to show myself doing the stairs in an upcoming vlog. I think it would be motivating and inspiring for a lot of you to see, because again, there are a lot of you who watch my videos who are also the same size as me. And I just want to let you guys know that I come from a place of where I was practically bedbound, couldn't even walk for a minute, and now I'm walking for 30 minutes at a time and doing 4 to 6 flights of stairs. Is it hard? Yes. Does it feel like sometimes I'm not gonna make it out alive? Yes. But I do it, and the satisfaction afterwards feels amazing. I truly hope to just get better and better at this point. I notice the more I walk and the more I walk up the stairs, it all just becomes so much easier. I will say though, I hate exercising, but I do it and I'm motivated to do it. And I have people around me who are like supporting me and egging me on and telling me you can do this. So as much as I hate it, I also love it. Does that make sense? Okay, so the last question is, do you feel audience pressure can sometimes mess up your weight loss progress? So I felt like this was a really good question. I feel like people's mental state can play a big role in whether they lose weight or gain weight. I know for me, now that I'm happier, I feel like striving to lose weight has become so much easier. But back when I was super depressed, it was like losing weight was always put on the back burner. I was never like inspired or determined at all. I know I have a lot of different people following me, a lot of people who support me and love me, and a lot of people who hate me or just dislike me and the decisions that I've made in the past or present. But when I talk about this next situation, I am not trying to group you all together. I am just trying to group together the people who have made me sometimes question if I like truly hate myself. There has been situations and moments in my YouTube career, if you will, where the comments have mentally destroyed me. And during that process of me being just super destroyed, for the lack of a better word, I turned to food. I felt super broken, and for some reason food put me back together. Situations like that also happened when I was younger, like my parents arguing, choosing drugs over me being in foster care, feeling super alone, living with strangers in children's shelters. All of that also made me turn to food. I have very, very, very bad coping mechanisms, so I'm not blaming anybody, not blaming y'all, not blaming the rude comments, not blaming my parents. I am blaming myself, because when you get put in a situation, you need to learn how to handle that situation in healthier ways. So I feel like because I grew up not really coping in the right way, I still, as a 30-year-old woman, have very bad coping skills. And I know a lot of y'all see that, and that's why you guys constantly tell me to get a therapist, and don't worry, it's happening. But to answer your question, yes, I feel like audience pressure and comments and the things that are said to me have in the past messed up my weight loss progress. But you know what? I'm not gonna let that be a crippling thing for me anymore. I am going to use these hate comments, and I'm gonna use the positive comments to continue to motivate me to better myself. Okay, so now time for the weigh-in. I am dreading this part. So before I get to the weigh-in, I know a lot of people believe in the Amberlynn cycle, and I want to let you guys know it's no longer a thing. What I am currently about to share with you guys regarding my weigh-in is strictly me as a morbidly obese person with food issues about to talk about the struggles. This isn't part of a cycle. This is just me opening up. I really would rather not open up, but I just feel like I owe it to you guys and to myself to be completely transparent in my weight loss journey here on YouTube. So last Wednesday on November 3rd, I weighed in at 504.0, and I would like to make it known that I do weigh myself completely naked, but when I was doing the weigh-ins for y'all, I was holding my phone. My phone usually weighs 0.4. So I am now officially gonna be logging just without my phone, since I no longer take pictures. And that's up to you guys to decide whether you believe my weigh-ins or not, because I know there's some people who don't believe in them, but after this weigh-in, I think you will start to believe me. Because if I was lying, I wouldn't want to admit to what I'm about to tell you. So November 3rd, I weighed in at 503.6, and on that day, I had 1,445 calories. Next day, November 4th, I weighed in at 403.2, which was down 0.4. That day, I had 1,565 calories. November 5th, I weighed in at 504.0, which was a 0.8 gain. And I was really confused. I kept asking myself, like, what is happening? So on Friday, which was November 5th, I did end up going to a friend's house where I told myself I'm gonna stay on track. But it seems like whenever I'm hanging out with friends, like, we do a lot of social eating, and the unhealthy part of my brain kind of gave into that. So I fell off track. November 6th, I did not weigh in because I was not home. I was at a friend's house, and again, I was off track. I ate fast food. I just ate junk, lots of sodium, and my body was truly not used to it, because when I stepped on the scale the next day, it wasn't pretty. November 7th, I weighed in at 508.8, which was a 4.8 weight gain. I was so upset, but I just like couldn't get my brain in gear. So it was another day off track. I find it very hard to get back on track when I kind of veer off the path that I'm supposed to be on. It's frustrating. I know it's because fast food and takeout food can very, very much be addictive. So when I start giving myself those things, I wake up and the next day I want more. So on November 8th, I didn't weigh in because I was honestly scared. But that day I ate 1,500 calories. The next day on November 9th, I weighed in at 511.8, which was another 3.0 weight gain. I have been trying to learn more about my body and really paying attention to what like sodium and water intake does to me. So even though I was on track the day before with only 1,500 calories, the fact that I had so much junk and sodium the days prior showed up on the scale hardcore. So on that day, I had 1,890 calories. So today, November 10th, you guys, y'all, okay, this is pretty amazing. I weighed in at 507.4. So overnight, I lost 4.4 pounds, and I know exactly what happened. Not only was I back on track, counting them cows, I did my exercises, I did more stair flights than usual, but y'all, I drank so much water. This is gonna sound really bad, but I probably only drink about 2 cups of water a day. So I retain a lot of water, and having lymphedema causes even more fluid retention and water retention. So as someone with lymphedema, I already need to be drinking a little bit more water. Yesterday, I decided My goal is to drink 8 cups of water. I drank 8 cups of water and I peed all day. Again, this is not really something I want to admit to, but normally I pee when I first wake up, one time during the day, and right before I fall asleep. That's only 3 times, which is really bad. But yesterday I could easily say I peed like 8 times and it felt pretty great. So this week, I have gained 3.8 pounds. In total, I have lost 65 pounds. I have been getting a lot of questions of why do I use my highest weight as a starting point. About 2 years ago, I weighed 572.4. 5 months ago, I was 569. I was only 3 pounds away from my heaviest. So yes, that is my starting weight. If 569 was my starting weight from 5 months ago, then okay, cool. I'm down 62 pounds in total. So as I'm learning more about my body, which I have honestly been loving because I feel like it's a lot of self-care. When you learn about your body and your mind and the way that it works, I honestly feel like that's where more progress is coming from. So I feel like for me, a big thing is sodium. As you guys know, I have been counting calories in a notebook, but I am actually going back to my MyFitnessPal. The reason why is because I want to know my sodium intake. I'm also very curious about my protein, my fat, my carbs. And if you guys want to add me on my MyFitnessPal, you always can. My name on there is Hello Honeydew, HELLOHONEYDEW. I'm sure you guys know how to spell that, but you never know. So honestly, my only goal for this week, drink more water, keep exercising, count them calories on my MyFitnessPal, and I want to reach my lowest weight. So it would be like a 502 moment. If it was a 502.4, that means I would be exactly down 70 pounds, and I'd love to be able to come on here and tell you guys that. In the past, if you guys have been watching me long enough, you know that I would give up after any failure situation. But now it's like, when things like this happen, this only makes me want to do better and get better. I think that right there just goes to show how much I have changed. So I hope that you guys did enjoy this weigh-in. I'm sorry, I gained 3.8 pounds. Do not be too disappointed because I'm hoping to come back next week with a good weigh-in. Hope that you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.